Oh, that was cool.
That's a keeper.
Yeah.
Got it.
Welcome to this episode of Exploring Alaska Waterways. In this episode, we'll look at fishing in Southeast Alaska from a wheelchair. Hope you enjoy. Todd and Christy are our good friends, are from Minnesota, and I'll let him explain more in his own words.
Some people might be interested, Dan, in this, and they're wondering, okay, they're sitting there watching me, and I'm in the wheelchair, and they're wondering, okay, how did I end up in a wheelchair? How
did you?
Well, I don't know. It's not something I want to talk about.
Well, but if I'm a good interviewer, I'll get you to do it.
You're no Barbara Walters, I'm telling you. So, yeah. No, I was 21 years old, and I dove off of a dock at a lake, and I used to tell people it was diving accidents, and then lead them to believe it was, down in Puerto Rico, and I'm doing
cliff diving.
cliff diving, and they were always so impressed. But unfortunately, it was not quite that exciting. I just dove off of a dock into some very shallow water and broke my neck. So that was 1977. I was 21 years old.
All right, let's zip ahead to our fishing trip. So you went fishing on a landing craft.
It's an aluminum landing craft, and the landing craft is just like you would see in the war movies, where the front drops down like a big ramp, and it works perfectly for this chair. And then, of course, the bottom of the boat's flat. So drop down the front right at the pier there in the harbor. And then we just put a little 3/4 inch piece of plywood for as a transition in case the boat moves a little bit or whatever. This boat isn't big enough for a cabin that has a wide enough aisleway or a door in the front, so I can't get in the cabin part of it. But every time we've ever gone out there, and in some of these videos it'll show me I'm bundled up like a cocoon,
Yeah.
Well,
it was chilly that day when the sun went under.
Oh, yeah, the days that we've gone out, and there's been a number of now over the last 3 trips up here, it's been great experience every time. Well, wait a minute, I take that back. We did go see the glacier, LeConte Glacier, and we went out, got onto Frederick Sound, and the waves were maybe 1.5 feet, 2 feet, and Dan asked me, he says, well, do you guys want to go out, or do you want to wait till another day because the wind could get a little worse? And I'd never been on the ocean before, and ocean water like this, I should say. I don't know, it's, inner channels, but I thought, well, we're out in a boat. I mean, it's not that bad. Let's go. So we went down Frederick Sound and went into LeConte Glacier, and it was all protected in there, and the waters were calm, and the sun was shining, and the icebergs were all blue from the sunlight, and the water was a brilliant green, and there were sea lions and seals all basking in the sun, and it was just fantastic. And we went and saw the glacier, which was magnificent. And then we came out, and the wind had picked up. That was an adventure.
Well, I do remember one particular wave. We were pointing down the trough, and I saw the crest coming, and I thought, there's no way this boat it's going to take on some water. It's got a self-bailing deck, but still, you're out there in an electric wheelchair, and salt water's coming over.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember the boat crested, went up over the crest, and the water splashed over the front, and then you free fell down to the next trough. Your chair went up in the air a little bit.
Yeah, I was airborne a couple of times on that trip. So
I think we went fishing the next day.
We did go fishing the next day. Yeah. So then the next day we go out in the water out there, and the water's smooth, just a few ripples, and the sun shining, and I'm thinking, it's not like this is what it's supposed to be like when you go out on the water.
Where did we go that day?
Was that the day we went up to Thomas Bay?
Yeah.
We went out there, and I had brought with me an electric reel, and I got to tell you, I bought a Daiwa Tacoma 1000, and that thing performed brilliantly. It's an amazing reel, and I would recommend that to anybody. But we went out there, and we're trying to figure out how to make this jig Well, jigging on this reel goes up and up and up. So we thought something was wrong with the reel, not knowing that it's just doing deep sea jigging. And so we played around with that for a few minutes and finally said, okay, I can jig. We're just going to fish. So Dan threw on another little chunk of bait and I dropped it. And within a couple of minutes, I snagged onto a 154-pound halibut.
Yeah, you did.
And that reel brought that thing up actually 3 times because Dan kept stabbing it with a harpoon because he first time with a harpoon and forgot to let go of the rope. So all he was doing was punching holes in the fish. And
we got that in.
We got it in.
On this trip the other day, it was pretty good water conditions.
Oh, beautiful water conditions.
So I remember
We went all the way up to Portage Bay.
Yeah, you got on the landing craft using the plywood. Then we launched off the slip, and then we we went
Caught herring right there.
And I got herring bait.
Yeah.
Well, how did you do that?
How did I do that?
Well, how did we?
I
do
watched.
That? Yeah.
That's how I did it. So yeah, they use these. So yeah, they just went out there and they'd find these school of herring and throw these lines out there that had multiple hooks on them with little beads that attracted the herring. And they'd catch anywhere from 1 to 4 herring at a time, throw them in the bucket, and maybe 15, 20 minutes, we had a bucket full of herring for bait, and in the boat, and we start moving, and I'm sitting in my chair and just enjoying the ride and watching all this magnificent
That's good.
landscape around us. You're looking at all these green forested hills, and in the background is snow-capped mountains, and and then we went by that glacier that we're driving by there, and there's that huge glacier out there, and that's
we sat out in front. We ended up
I told you gotta have sea wheels out.
Sea wheels, okay.
started fishing, right?
yeah.
And
Started fishing for halibut right off the bat.
yeah.
So using chunks of herring, and then just fishing right off the bottom. And yeah, during that course, we got three halibut, not big. Well, actually 4. Threw one back because it was pretty small.
Mm-hmm.
But 3 smaller halibut, which still nice halibut. Decent.
Yeah. Well, Christy pulled one up too.
Christy pulled one
I
up.
think that
You
was
got
her
2 of
first
them.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we? Talk about the whale, the bubble feeding.
Oh, that was. All of a sudden, we hear these noises coming, and was it you or Darcy recognized the noise right away as whales? So we look out across, and they're about a mile and a half out, maybe, or these whales breaching and blowing, and you can see the spouts, and you can see their backs come up, and then their tails come in, and they just kept breaching and going under, and then they pop up a little closer, and then they go under again, and they popped up a little closer, and at one point, I think they were probably maybe a half a mile away from us at the most.
Yeah, at the most.
At the most. It was magnificent. Backside.
You had seen them before, but Christy had not.
Right.
Did she make any comments about the whale bubble feeding episodes?
Well, she thought it was like a ship that collapsed or came up, or like submarine or something at first. I remember that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, both her and I kept talking about that. Was like, for her, it was probably the highlight of that fishing trip.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
To see something like that. And yeah.
Yeah.
It seemed, and the people use this term all the time, but it really seems surreal.
Yeah.
So it's the kind of thing that you see on these TV shows and all that kind of stuff, that to be out there and experience that live I wouldn't even know how to describe that, because there's so much going on, and you're watching these whales, and then you pulling up halibut at the same time, and it doesn't even seem like it could really be happening. Coming up here is because this is in our 3rd trip, and it's never gotten old.
Yeah.
Our 3rd trip up here, and it's as fun and as exciting as it was the first time.
At some point, then we stopped watching whales, and
we saw salmon jumping up. So essentially, they got the boat over there. Brandon, this friend of yours, says let's let's throw some lines out and try trolling here. And within a minute, hooked onto a beautiful, nice salmon, just trolling, and got that one landed and set the lines out again. And within just a few more minutes, caught an even bigger salmon, king salmon.
Mm-hmm.
And then to watch the fight on a salmon versus, halibut. To me, when I was pulling up that halibut the first time before you start poking holes in it, it's like dragging up a door, or a big log or something. But boy, those salmon, that was an exciting fight.
And I think while this is still going on, the whales are still blowing and moving around us.
Oh yeah, there were still whales breaching while we were catching salmon even.
Yeah.
So otters out in the, sea otters out there floating around.
Yeah. We're heading home. We caught the salmon, and because of time constraints, it said we're heading home. You could encapsulate
my biggest thing.
Sentiment.
My sentiment we're heading home is this just went too fast. This day just went by so fast. It was so full of all the things we did. I could have just stayed out there for a couple days the way things were going.
But
the feelings that I had that was just such a fun, exciting day. You just wanted it to continue.
Yeah.
That to me, that's what it was. I mean, between the halibut, the salmon, the whales, the landscape, the day itself on a beautiful, calm day, sun shining down on you. You're sitting out there. It's just, I said there used to be an old Milwaukee commercial. These guys are all on this river in Colorado, and they're sitting there and they got their fire going and they're drinking the old Milwaukee, and it says it just doesn't get any better than this. And I was thinking they're so wrong. Yeah, they need to be here.
Maybe kind of summarize for people who might be hesitant because they're in a wheelchair to come to Alaska and to partake in this thing that you're describing.
Obviously I was a little hesitant when I came out the first time. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't. I had no idea what the accommodations were going to be like. I didn't know what it was going to be like to get into a boat. I didn't know what the town was going to be like as far as accessibility. Didn't know about any of that, to be honest with you. I just, your place was wheelchair accessible, and I figured, okay, as long as I got a place to stay, we'll just go from there, and at least I can see what Alaska, get a taste of Alaska is probably what I was thinking at that point. I did not know that I was going to get all these experiences, but not every disability is the same, okay? Different disabilities have different challenges. But I know people with Parkinson's disease, I know people with spinal cord disease, spinal cord injuries, I know people that have cerebral palsy, I can't think of too many disabilities where they could not come up and enjoy all of this. Yeah, the people I met up here, how many times people come up, hey, can I help you? Is there anything I can,
Somebody that was there ran home, cut a board so you could enter the salty pantry, and it's still there today.
Right. The guy that was there was some kind of a carpenter or something, or whatever, but he told one of the workers to run out to his truck, and there was a board there that acted as a temporary threshold.
Yeah.
And then that got me in. And then while we sat there and ate, he got his food, went home, and actually angle cut a nice little ramp threshold and came in and screwed it in permanently.
That's
right. That was 4 years ago, and I was so happy to see that was still there when we went to the salty pantry.
Yeah.
Totally doable. We were able to get into a boat and get me into a boat, and it was easy. We went out on the water, had a beautiful trip up there, and some of the things we haven't touched about is, we went sightseeing, on earlier trips, and back into Scenic Cove, and some of the most. I still think that's one of the most beautiful spots I've seen up in this area. Snowcap melts and all that kind of stuff, and then go back to that Scenic Cove where it's just like, man, I'd love to put a little cabin here and live here. It's just so beautiful. There's endless experiences that we've had here now, and every one of them has been very positive.
Except for me.
Well, except for you. Well, two things. Except for you, and then falling off my lift and breaking my leg. So I should mention a shout out to Petersburg Medical Center. They're fantastic. So emergency room,
Out,
yeah, getting X-rayed and putting a cast or putting a brace
good
on.
people. Yeah.
Oh, I would have no qualms. I mean, I told Dan, and I meant this. I've had a number of physicians over the years, and she was one of the best that I've had.
Mhm.
I mean, just the beauty. I mean, it's magnificent. It's almost overwhelming when you're coming up there and you're looking at all this wild, and you know, they say with Alaska, the last wilderness or last frontier or whatever, and it feels like it up here. I mean, it really does. I would say overall, what really defines how I feel about this is the fact that I loved it up here so much, I'm investing into a place up here. So, and that's how confident I feel about being up here and being in a wheelchair. I've already been in a chair for 48 years, and have no hesitation, obviously, have no hesitation about purchasing a property up here now and becoming part of this community.
Well, thanks, Todd.
Sure, Dan.
You're a good friend because you pay your friendship dues.
Well, and I gotta say, I mean, as much grief as we give each other, you and Darcy are, I mean, magnificent hosts. I just
Well,
told
Darcy
you
is magnificent.
well, she's a
I'm
lot
just-
easier to look at.
I'm
I'll
just
tell you,
eye
but it's
candy. That's all.
yeah, yeah,
All right.
like that gum on the bottom of the bench. So,
Todd is a person who has had adversity in his life and has learned to overcome it. He shows that with the right spirit, it can take you anywhere, from halibut fishing to breathtaking whale encounters. This is a day we'll never forget.